Yo, what's going on guys, Max here, and today I'm going to be answering the question, what has been the best season in Fortnite Chapter 1? We have had a nice 2 years of 10 straight seasons in Fortnite, and I'd like to say it's been pretty successful. Fortnite has blown up and was at one point a very popular game. It has fallen off since. However, today we're going to be going through the thick and thin, and we're just basically going to be looking back at the good old days. So yeah, without any further ado, let's jump straight into it. So the first thing we're going to be covering today is pre-season 1 and season 1. I'm going to class these two as just purely season 1 because I don't think there was much difference between the two, and I'm just going to be referring to it as season 1 in this video. But anyways, what season 1 was basically, it held no expectations really, but the game looked very different compared to all the other stuff that was popular at the time. Of course, it was a battle royale, so that's kind of hard to say because 2017 was really the year for battle royales. I'm pretty sure PUBG was really popular at the time. However, all the games I was playing, it was pretty much COD, FIFA, and some other stuff I can't quite remember. However, Call of Duty and FIFA were quite big on the scene back then, and that's something to consider. But I started playing the game myself 2 weeks after release or something like that, of the battle royale, obviously, because Save the World I think dropped before the battle royale. I'm not entirely sure, but I believe so. And I saw an ad for Fortnite actually a couple times when I was watching some gaming videos, obviously, because it came up in the suggested ads and stuff. And the game looked very kind of different, as I was saying, and it caught my eye a little bit. But I didn't really consider playing it until two of my friends told me to kind of download it because they were playing it that one day. And the concept of the game sounded very kind of clever to me, and it was pretty cool because I have never really watched any battle royales previous to that. I don't know why, but it's just the way it went. But I tried the game out, and it was very different. A lot of fun happened in season 1 with all my friends. I remember just discovering the map, and just finding out new stuff about the game every single day. That Fortnite wasn't really big on YouTube back then, or Twitch. However, that's what kind of made it like a nostalgic season, because we discovered everything ourselves, compared to watching tips and tricks videos now and just like watching pro streamers playing stuff. And that's why season 1 is very special to me. I have very few memories of it, but I do remember starting really to like get into the game a lot, and I'm sure every single one of you remembers how it felt getting into a game and being scared to take a single fight, and landing on the outer edge of the map just so we don't get killed. And if we're lucky to camp it out and we do make it to the top 10, our hearts would just be so close to exploding, and you could really feel the hype of getting a win. It was literally the best feeling ever. Like, I remember I got my first solo win. I stood up shouting, bro. It was something else, man. I wish I could have those days back. But anyways, that's kind of season 1 in a nutshell, and let's move on to season 2. So in season 2, the first battle pass came out, and luckily your boy bought it because my younger brother was an absolute fan of my games, and he just loved watching me play Fortnite for some reason. I know exactly why, by the way. It's quite cartoony, and at the time it was just quite fun because I was sweating my my absolute balls off when I actually played. But you know how that went. Everyone just used to be a camper, and whenever I died, I used to get very vexed. It's nothing compared to now, however, but it's cool. But what season 2 was another sort of season 1, however, with a lot more kind of items added into the game. And I'm pretty sure season 2 was when weekly updates really started being like a big part of the game and the reason why a lot of people actually came back to play the game, because no other game on the scene was really putting out patches and updates that often, and that's what kind of made Fortnite stand out back then. Season 2 was the season of a double pump. Also, I remember watching a lot of Daquan play, and at the time he was definitely one of the best players in Fortnite. However, now obviously the guy doesn't really stream the game a lot, or at least I don't see him play. Maybe because he streams way past, whenever I go sleep, because I never see him stream. Maybe he streams at sort of nighttime in America, but I'm not entirely sure. You guys can tell me in the comments if you know. But yeah, I don't see him stream Fortnite often anymore. But that's besides the point. Season 2 was just one amazing season. And you guys know what came right after that. It was Season 3, and let's move on to that. Season 3 was when Fortnite absolutely took flight. I'm pretty sure that was the season when Ninja played Fortnite with Drake and Travis Scott and all the other guys. That might have been Season 4, I apologize, but those two seasons were very similar. Those two seasons were basically the reason why Fortnite took flight. Fortnite was by far the most popular game at those times, and it was very interesting because, as I was saying, it was still something new, and that's when it got like a player count that consistently played it, and with that happening, that brought a lot of players into the game. So anyways, after those two amazing seasons, Fortnite fell off just a little bit. Season 5 wasn't as good because the spam spray, whatever you may want to call it, meta kind of joined the chat, if you know what I mean. But besides that, the game was still quite good. In terms of not really mechanics and like loopholes and stuff, but it was playable. The casual was still enjoying the game a lot. No one was that crazy like good, and the skill gap wasn't anything to actually worry about. But yeah, Season 5 wasn't as successful as the previous two seasons, so in Season 6, Fortnite had to, lift their game up and just come in with a stronger season, because Season 5 was lacking the addition of the drum gun, the spray SMG, which has been added up, flipping back into the game a couple days ago with the addition of Chapter 2, and obviously the P90, which at the time, the P90 and the drum gun were never as bad as they are right now, even though those guns are still very strong. Back in the day, those flipping weapons used to melt. Like, you never used to need to carry a shotgun either, because the shotguns got nerfed pretty badly, and overall the season wasn't as much of a success as Season 3 and 4, as I was saying before. And in Season 6, Fortnite didn't really switch it up. I'll be honest, all they really did that season was, bring in kind of the floating island with the cube and stuff. However, Season 6 was a success for me, because obviously that live reaction thing I made, that video stands strong on like 200 views or something. But that's not the point. It is one of my favorite videos I've ever made, and just the memories with that video are crazy. You can go check that out if you want. It will probably be somewhere, like uploaded like a year and something ago now. But yeah, just because I liked this season doesn't mean it was a success for the whole, Fortnite community and just Fortnite themselves, obviously. I think a lot of people actually found that season quite boring. Nothing was too special about it until the pump just buff, and you could finally one-shot people once again, and that was a pretty successful update in my opinion. And right after that, the cube event happened, which is my favorite event to date, because it was just the first favorite event where a lot of people kind of just joined into the same thing, and right after that the new island came into the game and everyone just fought it out there. There was, around like 80 out of the 100 people landing there, and I actually stayed alive for quite long, which was surprising because at the time I was whack at the game. But once again, that is besides the point, and let's move on to Season 7, which I'm pretty sure was not much better than Season 6. However, I found it way, way better. And that is in terms of gameplay, because Season 7 actually had some decent gameplay. The problem with it, though, was planes, of course, which, we thought at the time that that was bad, and, look at it now. We've had so much just worse stuff added into the game, so think about it now, it's not as bad as all the other stuff like mechs and whatnot. So yeah, Season 7 was an overall failure once again, in my opinion, not because anything was wrong with it, but just because planes made it really hard. And the feeling when you cleared a town and then someone would just fly in on a plane and swan on you was very annoying. However, it was nothing too crazy to moan about. So a lot of people still did enjoy the game, including myself. And yeah, let's move into Season 8, which once again was nothing too special, but it was the season where Siphon actually got brought in, and I absolutely loved Siphon. I'm pretty sure it was there for the end of Season 7 as well, correct me if I am wrong. But in Season 8, Siphon just made the game so good, and I absolutely loved playing pubs and stuff. It was just so good. Like, getting that extra health meant that your team, or just you in solos, would never have to really worry as much about shield, because you were able to maybe get like a duo or a squad wipe, and then you'd get 100 or full health back, obviously. And that made good players turn into god players, and god players turn into invincible players, because Siphon just made you play like a boss. And the game got really aggressive that season, and what does Epic decide to do? Obviously, remove it, because it's unhealthy aggression. But it's cool. I really kind of hated them for that. Like, the flipping next 2 or 3 weeks I could not play. Like, I used to complain about every single thing, and look at me now, I'm perfectly fine. Which one of my friends told me, like in a few seasons or in a few weeks or something, you won't feel a thing. And I'm just like, yeah, sure. But of course, we are able to adapt and stuff with this game. But anyways, another thing that was kind of annoying about Season 8 was ballers and how crazy OP they were for the end game. And the reason why is because you could just roll around on your ball, especially in competitive, and not get shot as often, because the end game would just be packed as hell. And then you'd just be able to hop out with all of your materials that you've farmed up during the game and camped with your baller. And then the people that actually had to get into the zone with their materials, because they didn't have a baller themselves, they have already wasted all of the materials by then. And that meant that you had a 1 point something thousand material advantage, and that's very fair, isn't it? But after that, obviously, the borders got vaulted, and Season 8 ended as a sort of relief, because people did want the season to end. And you'll see that's a very common pattern with the next few seasons. So Season 9, 10, and wait, okay, this is Season 11. What am I'm tripping. Anyways, Season 9 and Season 10 were very similar, because of the fact that they were just terrible. Season 9 I didn't find as bad, but the things that did happen in Season 9 was obviously the bump got vaulted first of all, and we got the combat shotgun, which didn't work well at the time, and people thought it was bad. Oh boy, were they wrong. You could see how good the shotgun has become, and it had to get vaulted later on down the line. And another thing that happened in season 9 was the slipstreams, and that kind of messed up rotation, because you would be able to just get beamed whenever, wherever, and you were just asking to get flipping lasered if you took that thing, especially in like end games in arena mode. Well, not end games because it kind of got patched later, but you know what I mean. A memory that's kind of tied with that season is that 40 bomb Mr. Savage dropped. I don't really know why, but that was something. And the season wasn't too exciting. However, it wasn't bad either. This was actually one of my favorite recent kind of seasons, because season 10 was absolutely whack. We got the introduction of mechs, obviously, into the game, and that was probably the worst thing to ever happen to Fortnite. And then we got that crazy building nerf later down the line, and that was another annoying thing. So the past few seasons, as you can tell, weren't as good as this one. Say for example, Chapter 2 literally just redeemed Fortnite and all of its failures, in my opinion, because it's nice, having that feeling of actually being able to play Fortnite again, not just some game that requires no skill, but just landing on a mech and just stomping out every single person. So it's nice, it's nice. I kind of feel like I've covered all the negatives of the season in this video. However, at the end of the day, we love Fortnite. We have loved Fortnite throughout it, and some moments were better than the others, but at the end of the day, we're still here and Fortnite is still alive. So let's be happy about that, okay? Let's put all the other stuff behind in Chapter 1 and let's have a little new beginning. So yeah, in my opinion, the best season was season 3, by the way. That is the season where everything was right. Everything about the season was right. Don't call me out, don't at me, but that season was the best. But anyways, make sure you guys leave a like on the video and subscribe with notifications on if you have enjoyed. You're probably not new around here, because I doubt this video is gonna go viral, but it might. Psych, not really. But yeah, anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.